Has the bear market finally arrived, or is this correction finally reaching its bottom? In this video, we are going to take a look at the market leader to see exactly what is going on. We're going to have a look at a few charts, have a look at the news, and of course, have a look at some artificial intelligence to see what's going on with the underlying data. As we get into it, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗏. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a look at what is going on here. Okay, guys, so obviously this is a Bitcoin, right? We're paired up with USDT, and we are using Binance as a data source. As you can see, this is the hourly chart, and basically we've been tracking this 5 impulsive moves down. Okay, so like if you're familiar with the channel, we've been tracking 5 big impulsive moves to the upside on our weekly chart, right? That's still very much in the same structure. We'll have a look at it, I'm sure, in this video, right? But also on the smaller time frame, we have to acknowledge that we have these 5 impulsive moves to the downside, okay? And usually once this happens, you get this big ABC push to the upside that could also turn impulsive, so 1 through 5 up, right? Now, obviously, when we take a look at this, depending on how you want to do your wave counts, whether you believe in, Elliott wave or not, right? There's lots of resistance and support levels you can also be trading from, etc. Lots of different strategies, but ultimately I like the wave counts. Everything kind of resonates really well with them, and they work really well with the Fibonacci retracement zones, right? So straight away we can see that we do have this ABC forming here, which takes us actually down towards the low areas of wave 5, right? And wave 5 is a part of our bigger piece. So we know that we are looking to complete this wave 5. In theory, we could argue that wave 5 could have been completed here and we started a new trend. It's very possible. This is a key area. Okay, this yellow box area is a void that was left behind. It was also an area where we actually, if I just drag this across here, for example, where we reached this area before pulling all the way back down, right? So we blasted through it, we back tested on it, and that was a good support level. But inside this is a gap that has never been filled, or at least since October, right? So again, we have to acknowledge that this is an area that we might come back to. We're coming right back into it right now, and we're basically resting on top, bouncing around a little bit. But I am expecting us to kind of finish this smaller ABC correction down to this lower side, getting inside this yellow box very briefly before we then take up, come out to the upside. So to answer that very basic question to start with, and in order to really understand this, we're going to go into a bit of news and the bigger views. But are we in the bear market? Short answer is no, and I'm going to go through why, right? So first of all, we have to acknowledge what's actually going on here. Why did we slip past that 55k? Well, the new variant basically is shaking the market, right? Bitcoin loses 55k as altcoins bleed. So basically, major markets globally have been shaken by the new variant. Overall, and obviously we can go through all of that kind of stuff. I like to think that most people are probably familiar with what's going on there, but you'll pretty much be able to find out what's going on with that new variant, pretty much on any news outlet. So I'm not going to go through that kind of stuff. But basically, Bitcoin was one of the casualties, losing over 7%, basically from that 55k range down, right? And basically, we hit 53k. We called that a while back. That was looking like an interesting zone that we wanted to pull back down to. That's an interesting zone because it's also of support, which we are finding that we're resting right on, right? 53,800. And if we actually come back here, we can see that it was 53,600 that we went down to as a low, right? So we knew that that was an interesting area that's holding well. So a good bounce from there. So that's our A down to that area. We bounce from there, we push up, and then we fall into that C wave, okay? And what's next for Bitcoin? Well, according to these guys, or Stephen here, basically the new variant was felt much harder by the altcoins, as we know. Ethereum edging closer to 4K, support level losing over 1% overnight, losing over percent. I don't know how many percent. Anyway, Cardano, Polkadot, Avalanche, obviously Crypto.com, Litecoin, Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash, VeChain were all down more than 10%, right? And the market comes just a day after most cryptocurrencies look to set to finish a high for the month, right? So interesting kind of stuff. Doesn't really tell us what's happening next with Bitcoin. Instead, for that we do obviously have to look at the charts. Now, obviously, taking a look at this, I do expect our fifth wave to come a little bit deeper, just in line with our C wave here. Okay, so when I'm counting it, I'm looking at like that $52,000 range. That seems to be the most probable area for this C wave correction, dropping down lower to the support level of 50k. It is definitely possible, but I don't think it's probable. So we're looking very, very tight here to see what goes on. Now, guys, I'm going to stop this video for a second to talk about Crypto.com. Now, Crypto.com is the fastest growing crypto app. It has over 10 million users who have downloaded this app, and basically it allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrency at the true cost, right? Not many people realize this, but many different exchanges actually build the costs or their costs into the cost of the cryptocurrency that you're buying, which is sometimes why you see one crypto asset being priced differently on different exchanges. But with Crypto.com, the good news is you can buy it at the true cost with fees being calculated separately. But this is absolutely fantastic. It allows you to get a good understanding as to what is actually going on, how much these assets are actually costing you. Above and beyond that, one of the biggest features of the platform that we really like is the Crypto.com Visa card. Now, they obviously say it here on the website, this is the only card that you need, right? And basically with this particular card, you can top it up with fiat and you can use it. When you do this, you actually get cash back, right, depending on the card that you get. So not only can you top it up with crypto, but you can also top it up with fiat, right? So fiat, you can just transfer directly from your bank, top up the debit card, but you can also take your crypto assets and top it up with that as well. Okay, so it's a great way to spend your crypto assets if you wanted to. Obviously, I wouldn't be spending most of my crypto assets, but if I did hold something that didn't really have long-term value or no utility, like Dogecoin, for example, I'd probably use that for spending, for example, right? The cashback, they have various different levels, right? The only card that you need, as it says. So basically, if you go for a Ruby Still, actually, you can go for Midnight Blue. This is a 1% rewards. Okay, 0 staking requirements. You get 1% cashback. Ruby Still, 2% cashback. $400 of Crow staked. For the Royal Indigo and Jade Green, this is the one that Chris and myself have. It's $4,000 staked and 3% cashback. Now, you can go a little bit further. $40,000 staked, 5% cashback. Obsidian, $400,000 staked and 8% cashback. Now, they all come with additional benefits as well. So you can get Spotify completely for free from a Ruby Still upwards. Basically, you get a 100% cashback on those. Netflix, if you go for Royal Indigo or Jade Green, you get Netflix 100% cashback as well. If you go up for the Frosted Gold White or Icy White, Rose Gold, I should say, you also get Prime. You get Expedia at 10%. If you go to the Obsidian, you go much higher, right? And with this particular one, you get all of those others, right? So Spotify, Netflix, Prime, Expedia. You get Airbnb at 10% there. Airport lounges plus 1 guest. Crypto.com private. Really interesting stuff there, guys. Earn bonus rewards, exclusive merchandise, and private jet partnership. Which sounds pretty cool. So if you've got $400,000 to stake in Crow, then wow, you get a private jet partnership. Might be cool stuff. So there is a link to this in the description down below, guys. And basically, when you sign up and actually apply for a debit card, you'll get $25 free to get you going as well. So definitely worth checking out Crypto.com. But in order to really answer the question as to whether or not we are in, a bull market or a bear market, we really need to zoom out, because paying attention to that weekly view doesn't really do much for us. Instead, we need to really pay attention to the weekly views or the monthly views, right? So here we can see that we are pulling back a little bit, but nothing moves up in straight lines. We've seen this from time and time again during this 5 impulsive moves to the upside. Now, for us, we really like to actually reference Bitstamp, because we have a lot more data on Bitstamp than we do on Binance, for example, when it comes to Bitcoin history. So here we obviously have everything running from 2011 for Bitcoin. And we can see, the kind of the bull runs, right? We had the bull run in 2013, the bull run in 2017, and the bull run that we're in right now. Okay, and obviously what we're really tracking is a bit of a change, right? Each bull run is slightly different in themselves, but the current scenario is very, very similar to what happened here, okay? In terms of the 2013, as in we had this one spike, we then had a major pullback that everyone thought was a bear market, just down here. And then we had this parabolic run towards the end, and that run didn't last very long at all. It was pretty much over. If I actually grab hold of this, it was over in 7 weeks. Okay, so less than 2 months. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. And again, even if you look at the 2017, it was more steady. So we pulled back once. Everyone think it was a bear run. We had a couple of kind of pullbacks in here as well. And now we're kind of just waiting for that next kind of huge parabolic run. What's really unusual and what I don't think is happening here is a bear market scenario, because we haven't had this huge spike, right? We take a look at the percentage gains. It was 1100% in 2013, 5400% in 2017, and only 1,600. Let me just put that up to there. 1,600% in 2021. It's far too low of percentage gains to be made in this particular asset in a bull run. So it would actually potentially be spiking much higher, but we can go a little bit further and we can be a little bit more technical rather than just gut feel. We can use a Gaussian channel. The Gaussian channel, the red areas are your bull, are the bear markets. That's the where you get that low value set in there. Again, if you close inside the Gaussian channel, it's a pretty good indication of bear market. Closing in, getting pulled down, right? We are not closing in the Gaussian channel just yet, so it's really too soon to say we're in a bear market. Okay, obviously in time we'll tell whether or not we actually close inside this Gaussian channel, and if we do, then obviously I'll be calling it a bear market. I don't think we're there yet. In fact, I don't think we've even spiked up to where we're going to just yet either, right? So our chart here is indicating actually that we're more bullish than bearish, as indicated by the Gaussian channel, as indicated by all the timelines that I've dissected here, and basically in line with those micro movements as well. So when we jump back into Bitcoin, we turn off the Gaussian channel there, and we take a look at our impulsive moves. We know that we are looking very impulsive for Bitcoin up to the upside here, and basically we are slight deviations, basically manipulation and all that kind of good stuff that goes on in the space, but we are looking for that parabolic run that could see this thing reaching some pretty interesting numbers. So overall, I'm not overly concerned with what's kind of going on with Bitcoin. Basically, the latest pullback is global. It's a global event. It's not just affecting cryptocurrency. That's a positive, not a negative. And we saw what happened back here in 2020 in March when the first thing kind of dropped, and then we had this real steady increase afterwards, right? That shake out the retail investors, and then we'll start to gain some traction to it. Obviously, it's not alt season either. I know people have been speculating on that, but again, everything is pretty much following the same pattern, i.e. tethered to Bitcoin. Ethereum is tethered to Bitcoin, and basically we're following the same path, right? So it's not alt season, it's not bear market. We are just in a downtrend on the shorter time frames. The good news is that I do think that this is coming to a close. I think we are finding the bottom at last after this impulsive move. Okay, we were hoping it was just going to be an ABC correction, as in we're moving down on our A, B, and C. Just here, so we're looking to track 1, 2, and 3. We're hoping this would be the bottom. Instead, we set the fourth wave and we pulled down. So now we're looking to complete 5 before we move into an ABC up. Okay, so again, tracking nicely, getting closer to the bottom here. Once this is in, we should be looking for good explosion to the upside, where we'll be tracking an ABC initially, where we might turn a fourth wave and then a fifth afterwards. Okay, so all in all, everything's actually pretty good. This is just an opportunity to dollar cost average better positions before that next step. Of course, if you want to. Personally, I'm not really buying too much in the way of cryptocurrencies right now. My bags were packed way long ago in the bear market, which is obviously what we say. That's where the money is made. The bull run's only really about two things: managing your prices or price expectations, and your emotions. Manage those two things and you can navigate this space relatively well. Good strategies help with that. Bear market is where things are actually bought, where your positions are actually made. And of course, in the bear market is where you build your strategy. A good example of this is Solana. And for me, I was done at $185 for Solana. That's where my analysis was taking me. That's where I was thinking I was going to get out. My strategy was built to that point. 185 was hit and you're out. And it can go above, it can go ahead, it can go further, and you can go up in value more than $185, which it has done. But the greed is not going to get the better of me. I had a strategy, I executed the strategy, and I'm done with Solana. Okay, and it's these kind of things, this black and white approach, that really helps you navigate this space in a really nice, calm, and manner, I guess. And it basically helps you to avoid the greed. It helps you avoid those negative emotions in the space and makes you react more logically than emotionally, which is absolutely key for navigating a financial space as volatile as the crypto one. Okay, so overall the market's looking pretty interesting. But what does the 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 dashboard actually tell us? For those who do not know, 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗠𝗘𝗥𝗦 uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrencies. Right, there's a link in the description down below. If you're not familiar, it's completely free to sign up, so you're not going to cost you anything, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by what you find there. So basically Bitcoin here, this is a B3 rating overall, and obviously we get a little bit more detail than just your overall rating. Okay, it hasn't changed in the last 24 hours, so the rating has been the same. The fear and greed index is B3, basically meaning it's fearful, but it's not extreme fear, okay, but it is on the cusp of fearful, okay, so more neutral than fearful. We have a Sharpe ratio, that's a rating of D. This is probably the biggest concern of what the artificial intelligence is telling us. And this is basically your risk-reward ratio. Right now, the risks outweigh the rewards, so we want to be cautious about what's going on with Bitcoin, right? We're well below the 50-day average right now. So again, something to keep an eye on. So do sign up to 𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗃𝗀 and keep an eye on all of that. The AMI-HAD ratio, the liquidity, not a problem with liquidity. That's looking very, very good. The moving averages, C2, not a well, I'd say, we've seen downtrends, so obviously that is being affected by what's kind of going on with the downtrend, but I do expect the moving averages to get better. So a C2, I was going to say not a problem, but actually it is. It's a problem from the fact that many day traders or traders will be using the moving averages, the simple moving averages or whatever, to kind of monitor what's going on with Bitcoin. So again, that will have a compounding effect on the price. But again, I much prefer to follow the wave counts than moving averages. Because again, you have golden crosses, death crosses, and all sorts of nonsense when it comes to moving averages, which are all self-fulfilling prophecies as well. But profitability, obviously we do have an A1, so it's still profitable, obviously right up there as well. So ultimately, yeah, everything's looking interesting, right? We obviously have a reasonable amount of fear kind of creeping into the space. We have got Sharpe ratio issues, we've got moving average issues, but liquidity is good and profitability is still good. So the underlying data is, I'd say something we should probably be aware of, that there is still more volatility to come. Okay, and that's kind of what we've been talking about in terms of completing this C wave to the downside on our smaller time frames for Bitcoin. Okay, guys, I am going to leave the video right there. If you have found this useful and informative, then do hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.